We'll get started. I do want to talk a little bit about StarShip and what it is. A lot of people don't fully understand what it is we're trying to accomplish, but StarShip at its core is a liquidity token. I believe that at some point the liquidity that is available on the market should be decentralized. If we look at things like the AMM model, and when it was first conceived by the ETH founder in 2017, I think that was probably one of the most valuable inventions for people, especially when you see things that happens in the centralized markets like FTX. So Uniswap was launched towards the end of 2018. So that means decentralized markets are really only 4 years old. They're basically in their infancy. This is important to understand, and it's probably one of the most important things to understand, especially with StarShip, because StarShip at its core is a liquidity token. If you've been monitoring StarShip since the beginning of this year, you have noticed that we've added over $200,000 at the time of the liquidity pool ad in other tokens, in other token pairings. 100% of our liquidity pool ads, the LP tokens, those are the tokens that give you access to withdraw tokens from the liquidity pool. 100% of those are burned, which means that neither myself or anybody else can withdraw those tokens. Same thing with our main trading pair, which is StarShip/BNB. The LP tokens are either burned or locked. There's like 7% or something that's locked for 99 years. This means nobody has access to it. If we want to look at probably one of our best token pairings, in the last month, we have a pairing with Flourishing AI. That pairing was valued at about $5,000, and now it's valued at almost $14,000. That's in the last month. So it's small gains, but every trade that happens on the DEX, 0.17%. Is added to those pairings. I mean, with the volume to market cap ratio, we could see liquidity pools increasing by 30% plus per year, which means that at some point we won't need to create incentives. We won't need to create whatever to encourage people to do pairings. Once StarShip has enough liquidity pool pairings, and there's enough action on the market over the years, it doesn't even have to be with our token. It could just be like with what happened with Flourishing AI. Their token did a 3x, and so did our liquidity pairing with them. So, basically, I just wanted to refresh everybody's memory on what StarShip is and why it's important to understand that. Moving on to Sexy Finance, we found that the easiest way to launch Sexy was to divide it into 3 parts. The first part, which you're going to get access to today, is spot trading / derivatives trading. So you can do leverage trades, you can do spot trading, and it's a beautiful thing. Next part would be, we would implement this if everything else is if the spot and futures trading is well received. There's literally 0 point in implementing the on-ramp, off-ramp fiat and the debit cards, the crypto debit cards, where you'd be able to deposit StarShip token, spend it. You could also deposit stable coin, whichever you want. But there's no point in us implementing that if the community doesn't receive the spot and the derivatives trading very well, because it just means that basically, it's in your hands. The ball's in your court. This is the first step. If you think this is great, then use it. If not, then don't use it. But definitely don't expect us to continue furthering the development of this. And to put that into perspective, we have our game, StarShip NFTs, which we rebranded to deploy StarShip. So we have this game. Some of you are active on it. I don't think everyone here is, but there's a lot of people using this game. There's a lot of people who love it. There's over 100,000 contract actions per day on this game. And to put that into perspective, StarShip token has about 92,000 contract actions total. Hasn't even hit 100,000. Granted, we haven't added utility. It's not an in-game currency, but there's no need for people to constantly trade it. But just putting those two things in perspective, game contract, 100,000 actions per day, StarShip token, less than 100,000 in almost 2 years. So, obviously we need to continue developing that, because that's what the community is showing us, is that, this is where they want us to put our money. So spot and derivatives trading is available on, if you want to check the chat. And basically what you'll do is you'll log in to DEXy.trade, you'll connect your wallet, and you'll be able to get your referral link. And you can also get an API key where you can use this on 3 commas with your trading bots or whatever. So DEXy.trade, and that is where our spot and our derivatives trading is going to be. And like I said, we have to split things. It just makes it easier, the financial aspect of things. So if anybody has any questions, if you want to ask it in voice chat now, or if you want to type it, I can read it and answer that question.
I just got denied on there. So it's not available in the United States, or at least in Colorado?
Yeah, we've blocked the US citizens from here for now. But if you are traveling to the US from an outside country and you need to get access, then you could download a VPN and gain access that way.
Okay, I was just trying to do the referral thing and all that other stuff, but yeah, I live in Colorado, so okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I guess not. But we could do some training sessions on we could just set those up in Discord or do them here, live here. There's a couple other people typing, Doge team and Nix. We'll see if they have questions. We have a group of people who have been with StarShip since the beginning, and they are, launching a series of press releases, and they're kind of just taking lead on DEXy. So, I'll see if they can get in here and do a couple of videos over the next, couple of days. But we should see a lot of events happening. And tomorrow, I am doing a Twitter space with 170,000 person community. So we'll drop the link in here tomorrow regarding that. So we should be pretty well on track. If anybody wants to post their referral link in Sexy Finance, that would be cool. That's just I want to see if you guys have it set up yet. There's a question from Doge team. He says, I still don't understand the definition of what a liquidity token is versus any other. Sorry for my ignorance. So I guess they call them utility tokens. I don't see the term liquidity token being thrown around much. I see things like Radio Shack. There's there's another token that's coming out. They don't even call themselves a liquidity token, but it's Capiosa. And what they do is, in order to get listed on their centralized exchange, it's like a cross between a DEX and a SEX. So in order to get listed on their centralized exchange, you have to pair $20,000 of your token with their token. And then they're licensed in Canada. So we're supposed to do a liquidity pairing with them at some point. But anyways, the long story short of it is, that's kind of the utility of their token. So I guess it would fall under the category of utility token. But this is one of the utilities of our token, is those liquidity pairings. Okay, so how does SEXy apply to StarShip Game? It's not really how does SEXy apply to StarShip Game. It's how does SEXy apply to StarShip ecosystem? How does deploy StarShip Game apply to StarShip ecosystem? StarShip is a collection of different utilities and things, all serving that single purpose, which is creating those liquidity pairings. I don't know if anyone or Stuart, if you could drop the link to our white paper, but it's really important for you guys to check this stuff out. So Tony Stacks says he has a well-detailed course on technical analysis that will really help anyone new to the trading and reading charts. He can give StarShip community members free access. If you want to post a link to it, Tony, then that's fine. Brandon asked, so DEXy is separate from SEXy? I mean, I guess the name is different and separate, but everything is serving the same purpose. There's a couple other people fighting or typing. Shivam, Andrew just posted his DEXy referral link. Shivam just posted his. Can we swap Kyanite to StarShip using SEXy? Not yet, but soon. So SEXy, essentially a decentralized exchange with StarShip token at its core. SEXy is a centralized exchange. Actually, CEX it stands for centralized exchange. DEX stands for decentralized exchange. So DEXy is a decentralized exchange at its core. Obviously, at some point, we'll further release new features, especially centralized features, things that really just aren't available on the DEX yet. But I believe, and this is my personal belief, that 10, 15 years from now, decentralized exchanges are going to replace centralized exchanges. So, if you look at derivatives trading on CoinMarketCap, there's probably 3 available decentralized exchanges that do derivatives trading. Only 3. So we're like right in the beginning of this market. And it was just 4 years ago that Uniswap launched. So this is pretty major. I mean, we're like right in the beginning of this. I'm sure one day Forex trading will be available on decentralized exchanges. Maybe it already is. Maybe I just haven't seen it yet. But I believe, all of the core features of the centralized finance space will be available in the decentralized finance space, at some point. So this is kind of like us hedging our bets, if that makes sense. Brandon asked, so we may not move forward with SEXy as we are moving towards a decentralized exchange model, or are we waiting to see how successful DEXy is before moving on with SEXy? So basically, it depends on how well received DEXy is. If people don't use it, then we won't further development. We won't further the development of our product, our finance products. But if people do use it, then you could very well see the on-ramp, off-ramp fiat with debit cards, which would be the second release. And then you could see Sexy Finance with the Forex trading right after that. So it depends on how well received it is. For example, like I said, with the game, there's a lot of people playing it. There's over 100,000 contract actions per day. Obviously, we need to continue developing the game. If we see, something similar on DEXy, then obviously our base for the finance products is there. It does exist, and we need to continue developing on that base. Nate asked, is someone able to write this up as a Q&A format? Would be good for folks that missed this. Yeah. Is Andrew on the call? Andrew, do you think you could add these questions?
Oh, yeah, I could do, yeah.
And I believe Andrew's one of the people. You're going to be launching the press release, right?
Yeah, I think the press release is with Melanie at the moment. Fullfire, I believe, done the final draft of it, but Melanie's got it for approval. And when she's happy with it, I presume she's going to release it.
There's no new token. Our token is StarShip token. That's Sexy's token. That's DEXy's token. That's, even though we have an in-game currency for StarShip game, StarShip token is the game's token. This week we have an arena launching in Unreal Kingdom. StarShip is the token for that because, there's we don't have a bridge yet, bridge Kyanite over to ETH, but we do have a bridge for StarShip over to ETH. There's an Infinite Maze runner that's launching inside of Unreal Kingdom that will use StarShip token. There's another game, the people in our ecosystem, there's a lot of people who love StarShip community. They love StarShip token. They love, the ideas, the foundational ideas that StarShip was built on. And they're starting to launch products that utilize StarShip token. So I imagine, 5 years from now, you're going to be able to take StarShip token, swipe it with a debit card, use it there. You're going to be able to, use it in multiple different games, multiple communities you'll see supporting it. It's just a matter of time. But we're starting to see people, push on that. So someone said, when you say it depends how well received it is as to whether or not you continue with financial products, are you referring to Sexy Finance as a whole? Yes, we're referring to, Sexy, DEXy, and the on-ramp, off-ramp fiat with debit cards. So, DEXy is the first step. And if 3 people use it and nobody likes it and it's just not their cup of tea, they don't understand it, they're not willing to understand it, then, that's okay. But we're leaving it in the community's hands. So if you guys, think this is something that needs to be pursued, then like people like Andrew do, they're launching press releases, and then we have Charles and Fullfire and Carrie. There's some influencers who are joining. There's a secret group of people who are, working to expand these financial products, and we'll see what happens. I don't want to make any promises, but there's a lot of passion behind this because if you remember, StarShip community, it came from our initial trading community. There's a lot of traders in our community. There's a lot of people who used to follow my trades Makuji's trades, and yeah, we built our base that way. I think we went from 0 to 13,000 people, looking at our trades within 3 weeks. So it was really fast. There was a lot of love for what we were doing there. And the first product that we wanted to launch was Sexy, but we ended up pushing on a few other products first. Unfortunately, those didn't work out, but that doesn't mean that base isn't here, and it doesn't mean that we can't reactivate them. So it's just letting them know, because a lot of the traders, they weren't big on the game, but that was a majority of our base. Even our token holders, there's over 14,000 token holders, but only 7,000 registered players on the game. So that kind of shows you, it doesn't mean the community is split. It just means that, people have different interests, and it doesn't mean, we're not going to try to accommodate those people. We'll keep releasing things that we've promised. So how would DEXy improve upon what is currently available with the competition? What are we doing differently? Well, if you want, Doge team, or anybody else in this call or who listens to this call, DM Andrew or myself in Telegram, or Carrie, and we will get you on to this private group where we're going to be going into detail on all those things, which you may see a lot of that information available with these press releases that are going to be going out. So will there be any marketing to bring new people in for the new website? Yes, I'm doing a Twitter space tomorrow. If you guys want to come listen, there's 170,000 people on that Twitter space, or following that channel. I don't know how many people will be on the Twitter space, but we will, see what happens. Marky asks, what's the address for DEXy? It's DEXy.trade. Someone asked how they get the referral link. Just go to DEXy.trade, connect your wallet, click the wallet address at the top. There'll be a drop down where you can get an API key for 3 commas, or you can get your referral link.